Hi, Sheila.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Remember we met at the baby shower, right? Right. Hi, Francis.
Good to see you.
How are you, Christy? Nice to see you. Happy to see you. You look lovely, beautiful as usual. And hi, Sheila. Hi, Francis. Nice to see you. You got your more short. I did it myself because it wasn't perfect. It's not perfect, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah, looks good.
I want you to meet my beautiful sister. This is Yuffie.
Yes, hi.
So her name is this way with an E.
Oh.
And Francis has keeping the old sign that was on the chin since he came to America. When new international students move to America, they tend to change their sign name because someone in America gave them a new one. And I'm like, come on, she can keep and honor her traditional culture and the sign that she had in Africa. So that was your grow up sign with the E. Is that
Very
right?
good.
But it used to be this in Zambia. Oh, in Zambia it was this, and then at RIT had the same, someone had the same sign name, so then she became, so now you use.
What's that?
Francis says I'm stubborn. I'm going to keep my.
I'm recording live on Zoom. Wait.
So Francis is saying, anyway, I'm going to use the old sign while she uses the new American version. So Christy, do you want to start? I can interpret for you. Is that okay? And Christy can share from her point of view. So I just want to give a quick background because Christy, you know me, Francis, you already know me, but I just wanted to kind of catch you up. Maybe if you let me catch you up, then you'll know kind of what's been happening since COVID hit and why we're here with this beautiful young lady from RIT and Zambia. So I've always loved your work, Christy, because of your spirituality.
Yes. Can Francis just kind of give a little short description of the Give Back to Community-Zambia and what it is? Because some new people will be watching and they will want to know, what is this project? And then he could also introduce our guest, Yuffie, and in why she's joined us to talk about the girls in Zambia and what they go through. And then, yes, catch us up.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. That's excellent. So I think that's a very nice agenda, Christy. Very good. Concise and to the point. So who, now I'm interpreting, I forgot who's next.
Francis, just to introduce what the project is about, the Give Back to Zambia, Give Back Community Zambia.
Okay, so I formed GBCZ, Give Back to the Community in Zambia, and what was it that we were aiming for was for improving the lives of deaf and hard of hearing people in Zambia. And I can give you our vision and mission because we have several specific things we're focused on. So we are talking about deaf women in Zambia. We do have this, it's a newer program. It's one of our 5 focus goals. So let me just talk about the Deaf Zambian Women Project, and then I'm going to introduce you to Yufi, who is leading this project. So just Sheila's adding, she wants you to explain GPCC general. She wants. So Francis says then, let me just give you a quick overview of the 4 priorities and the new Deaf Women's Project after that. So one of our, I think the best way for me to give you a clear picture on what we're doing is we're first focused on deaf education, and that is to develop a nationwide curriculum for deaf education. There isn't one yet, and we have kind of an old-fashioned approach that's been used, and the government has approved our work to update everything. But because of COVID, we weren't able to go to Zambia this summer, which we were going to be following up on that in person. The second goal is developing a Zambian sign language dictionary that can be used nationwide, and to have an app ready. But again, COVID interrupted that process. So Sheila's just clarifying, you said dictionary and become app, you said that? And it's already, we've already completed the dictionary and we completed the app. And the goal was to download lots of different ways to use the app, because then you don't have to have access to the internet. So you mean if you
use it on your phone.
You don't have to have internet? Sheila's checking. That's right.
Yeah,
so
you can use it on your phone. I think also it's important to understand that a lot of deaf people don't automatically have signing parents. So it's a language famine that happens for these children.
Yeah, we call it language deprivation for sure. That is, they don't have a language really, because the parents often don't know sign language or not encouraged to use sign language. So we keep, Sheila and I keep talking about wanting to have a new family program where we can really help families learn sign language to communicate with their young deaf and hard of hearing kids under 5. And so we're looking forward to doing that, and that will really help close a lot of gaps, a lot of educational, social, psychological gaps. So the first goal we've had is deaf education, as I mentioned, the curriculum nationwide. Second is the dictionary and the app of Zambian Sign Language. The third goal is we have a school that is from 1st to 7th grade. Zambia had before building. Well, we partnered and we're working with the school in Zambia from 1st to 7th grade. And they only went from 1st to 7th grade. So what we did is, when we were at Zambia the last time, the government gave us some land and we asked to see if they would partner with us, and they did. So we're super excited, and that we got a small grant, and we're actually building a school. And we've been, I've shown you some of the photos, I think,
Yes.
Of how exciting this is actually to see it happening. Yeah. And we have how many classrooms? 7 classrooms that we're adding, plus we have a house for instruction for the teachers. And then we're hoping to build a hospital and a wellness program, because I wanted to copy what you shared with us with Marin City. Remember, Christy, you introduced me to Ricardo, yes. Which yes. I'll never forget that magical moment.
That was
when I really understood all the things that we could do, because Marin City had already done it for over 25 years. And so with all the blessings that we've been getting from donations and the government partnering with us and working with you and Ricardo, we've, it's all coming together. And we have also 10 kids during COVID that were homeless. And so when COVID hit, I knew I had grown up And part of my life, I was homeless under the age of 18. And so I tried to figure out how we could reach out to deaf youth. And we found 10 homeless youth during COVID in Zambia so that we could house them. We could get them beds, and we're sending money to have them cared for. And the board is now approved that we're going to be sponsoring these 10 students all the way through school and college graduation. And so it's a really, we wanted to make sure that there's leadership and that we can have, you said you from the bottom up. So what I meant was, we know that our leadership needs to start with our youth, because we want to invest in our youth, especially those that don't have parents and are homeless, and are orphaned. So we're really excited that we've been able to have an impact with Zambia. And in the future, we want to do more globally, but we know that this is like planting seeds in our garden. These are our beginnings, and we've had them housed since March. They've been going to school. They have a place to sleep. They have food. We have supervision for them, and so they're eating 3 meals a day when they were out there on the street with nothing.
Wow.
And so it's just been it just gives my heart real joy that we've been able to make that kind of difference. So that's in the third. The third is the building of expanding the school from what Zambian schools we're only going up to 7th grade. So then the fourth goal is the Deaf Women's in Zambia project. And the reason that we founded and piloted this project is because my own experience growing up in Zambia, I had been homeless, and people tried to take advantage of me in all kinds of ways. But I know that what I went through is not even close to what I know deaf Zambian women are going through, because they really have a lot of challenges. And Yufi, who I'll introduce to you in a minute, and she's a deaf woman from Zambia, and she's in America now for school. And I'll let Yufi tell you more about it. And we know that we can't just help deaf youth. We have to help adults, especially deaf women, who are part of bringing in the next generation with becoming mothers and having their own children. So we really wanted to make sure that deaf Zambian women can be learn how to care for themselves and really get the support they deserve in order to be the type of mothers that they deserve to be to the next generation of children. And so one example with COVID, you were asking Christy about how much that interrupted. Hang on one second. Sorry. So, can see, yeah. So, yeah. So let me just start again on this next project about deaf women, empowering them and developing programming so that, of course, I shouldn't be the one to take leadership because I'm a deaf Zambian man, and so I was such good friends with Yufi. We were in high school together, classmates. We've known each other forever, and I know she's also comes from a lot of poverty, and so do I. So I've been inspired, and she's an unusual case because she didn't get pregnant at a young age. A lot of deaf women don't understand what happens, that they get pregnant without understanding about sex and how they got pregnant. There's Francis says that, he just is so impressed that Yufi wanted to make sure that she was able to make a difference, and she didn't want any of these barriers to stop her from getting an education. She has been, she made it to America for college, to university, and she has ideas for businesses that she wants to set up. And so she's just always inspired me. I've just seen so many deaf Zambian women be unempowered and taken advantage of so much that it's just became a way of life. And so Eufy's really found her way out of that. And with Sheila and Christy and Connie and others, I just think that we'll all be able to make a difference for deaf women and deaf young women in Zambia who really want to pursue their dreams and they feel stuck. There's no light. It's like they're in a dark place. And we just think that this program can be the lighthouse that they need to inspire them with role models like Eufy. So I think it's one of the most important programs that we have.
Yes, I think so. And this show that Eufy, you are going to be on, or that you are on as of this viewing, is about the rise of the divine feminine. Because what we have found is that when women are empowered and women are supported to become their best selves, then what happens is the children get fed, the village gets taken care of, a lot of good comes forward. And so we want to support you and hear your story about what it was like growing up in poverty and now the way that your life is turning around, so that people who are hearing your story may donate while you're talking to the GoFundMe campaign, so that we may donate to you and your project with the Give Back to Zambia Community Project. Thank you.
Thank you. So do you want her to start now?
Yeah, she can.
So yeah, Francis says, take it away, Eufy. So my name is Eufy, Euphemiah. Wait, EUPH. So start again, please. EUPH, and then EMIA. So then the nickname is Eufy. That's how
I see.
I got my nickname. So I live in Rochester, New York now, and I moved to the US in 2018, and I'm a student at Rochester Institute of Technology, and I am so grateful that I'm made it here today. I can't thank Francis enough for how much I can't thank Francis enough for all the advocacy that he did to help me get into RIT. I got a scholarship and I'm majoring in business administration. And it's really not that easy to get a scholarship. Without Francis, I don't think I would have ever gotten a scholarship, and I never would be here. So I feel that my life has completely turned around and it's just full of life and excitement, and I'm inspired with where I am and what I'm doing. So there's a lot of us that grew up in poor families and we can't get the money, the finances for the education that we desire. And especially deaf women have a lot more suffering than our hearing siblings or counterparts. So I kept thinking, if I could get some kind of support in some kind of way, then what I want to do is give back. I know there's so many other friends of mine and people even that I don't know, that all throughout my country, that are lost without any kind of support. And their families often look down at them and think that they're helpless and powerless and don't use sign language, and then they are left in the dark, and then they're just married off usually and not given much focus, and the adults don't often know what to do with them. So,
Because they're deaf.
because parents don't know what to do with the deaf children, is that right? Hearing parents don't know what to do. Yeah, a lot of the hearing parents don't know what to do. My goodness, I have a deaf child. She must be deaf and dumb. And a lot of times they're forced to marry at a younger age. So a lot of deaf women are maybe 12 years old and married off, and working long days on the farm. Who's willing? So the parents who are willing to, oftentimes the hearing parents focus on their hearing children, and so their hearing children get a great education, or what the parents can pull together for that child. But for their disabled, their deaf child, they just consider them to be kind of broken, deaf and dumb. You can't do anything. They assume that we can't do anything because we can't hear. But deaf people are bright. They do have skills, and they can work, and they can do anything that their siblings can. But it's really a systemic problem. The system just continues to really, really oppress deaf women. So in school, I know that my goal at RIT is to make sure that I do my best so that I can give back, that others can do their best. And especially with something like this is helping us get the word out and really expand the awareness. So I really appreciate this opportunity to share, because it isn't so easy for us to have a way to share our story because of all the communication barriers. And so both the deaf youth and my goal is to provide advocacy to support deaf youth and deaf women and help them be more successful both in school and out of school, and so that they can really be empowered and free. I've had a lot of negative experiences during my lifetime, and so as women, we experience, when we're trying to ask for help from a man, we find that the man will not help us. You know, often a man wants something in return for helping us, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And so that we really want women to know that they deserve a hand up, so to speak, and that we can support each other. Zambian deaf women can support each other to really be their best, to become the best woman they can be. And so my goal with this project is to have a chance to do some brainstorming, and we want to provide workshops. We're just in the beginning phases of sort of setting up this whole pilot project, and we are now identifying deaf Zambian girls in 7th grade to 9th grade, in middle school years, from the 7th, 8th, and 9th grades, with our new add-on to the 7th grade limit that the deaf school used to have, so that we are now wanting to do health education, for example, reproductive health, so that will reduce the number of young deaf women getting pregnant because they don't understand anything about it. They never were educated. So we have so many young deaf Zambian women who get pregnant at a young age, and they drop out of school. And so they don't understand that there's such a thing as birth control. And our goal is to really meet with them, explain everything to them, so that they can really understand how their body works, and they can take, become more empowered and make their own choices. and we want to, provide them with all the information they missed out on that their hearing brothers and sisters got.
Yeah.
So that's why I look forward to working with Francis, and wanted to see what I could do to give back as well as Francis is doing, and join him in this campaign. So Francis is saying, again, with your amazing help, Eufy will be able to do a lot for so many. And Eufy, I think that one of the goals that I was thinking about was Eufy having an internship if possible. And I was wondering if maybe, the domestic peace, what was the name of the program, Christy?
Domestic Peace Center in Marin County.
Marin County. Remember, you helped us with a tour there and meet all the staff and learn more about the wonderful program they have. And so I've been wondering if Eufy might be able to do some kind of an internship, because this way she would get the training she needs to really go back to Zambia with all the tools and all the information she needs. So that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about.
Yes, I'm sure they would be very interested in seeing what ways and how they can support Eufy, be it internship. One of the beauties of these modeled programs that are designed to serve the underserved communities is that they have organized themselves so that they have very clear models, workbooks, instruction manuals, and they can help you duplicate that. So they can teach you how to set that up in your village and get those same kind of programs. And they have transformed communities, lowered the number of calls they get to the police of women being beaten, because they have worked out ways to work with the police department, work with the families, and also teach the men what to do when you get angry instead of just hit someone. In one of their programs, they found out that before a man hits a woman, there are 6 things that happen. Every time they discovered in a 15-year research study that there are 6 things before he hits her. There are like 6 things that happen in his mind. And so they give him a training to understand what those 6 things are. And so the guy learns like, oh, I'm about to hit her. I think I better do something else. And so he learns to do various things that can relieve his stress, to deal with his anger, so that he doesn't have to do that. And the guys actually like having these new skills. One of the directors said that she said the men now cry a lot. And she's like, they're crying because they're in touch with their feelings instead of just having only one feeling. So now they can make choices, and so their families can be healed, and they don't have to separate. But it also empowers the woman to understand why men hit women, and teaches them. So that's a whole education program. They actually have that education program in the schools because they're teaching kids not to grow up to beat women. So they teach it in the schools so the kids learn what to do with their anger instead of hit somebody.
Francis says they have a curriculum, domestic peace
have a curriculum.
Have a school curriculum.
They teach it already.
That is so cool. We really want,
because you don't want to raise children who don't know what to do when they get mad. You want to raise children who understand, I'm mad, but what am I going to do about my anger? And is there a better way to deal with my anger? So yes, and that all of these they would teach you, they would give to you, and help you to be able to teach one how to protect themselves, but also how to raise the children so that they don't do that. And it's a fantastic program that they have developed, backed by really solid research. And there will be so many people that will be hearing your story on this call, on this Zoom program on Saturday night, who will probably want to reach out to you and give you some kind of additional support, business support, a sponsoring support with some of the girls, just like Frances helped you, because this is the global peace tribe.
Frances, that would be just amazing. That would be really amazing.
Yeah, this is the global peace tribe. So this is the people of heart. This is the people who in their heart want to do what they can to create a world living in love. So they will respond and they will see what they can do. They will come up with ideas. So, we shall see, but I'm sure, and I'm glad to hear you say about wanting the platform to share your story, because I think that's important too. And we will have, Frances has been to our Martin Luther King Day celebration. And so Frances, we can see about doing something at our Martin Luther King Day, so that you folks will have a chance to share your story about.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. And I really appreciate the time that you're spending with me and doing this. And then if you want to say any closing words or any closing things about what you would like to say to people about who you are and what you're trying to do to make a better world, please, you can speak or you can sign.
Well, first, I want to thank you, Christy. It's a real joy to be able to share my story with so many people and viewers, because I appreciate all the opportunity to learn how to be empowered. I remember so many days and years that I felt I was so alone, and that when you have advocacy and people like you reaching out, it makes a huge difference for people like me back home. So
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And this is how we get a better world, is helping each other out. And Frances, my dear one, Frances won the award. My understanding, you were 15 years old when you got your first pair of shoes.
Well, it was actually after I was 15.
Oh, so here he is owning his first pair of shoes, and he was brought to America by one of the Peace Corps volunteers who saw his leadership abilities, and he ended up winning the award in his school for Teacher of the Year. And he inspires the hearts of all of these young people that he works with. So we hope they'll all come on and watch you in the show. It's going to be August 22nd. And so you want to tell all the kids to come and watch you, because it's Saturday Night Alive, which means that we talk about what's alive in us, the joy, the happiness, the art, the music, the helping, all of these qualities of humanity that are so important that we cultivate and that we include. And being inclusive is a huge part of it, because it is who we are. We're a diverse world. And so we honor that. And so thank you, Frances, for your hard work, because I know how hard you work to come here, no English, and then to win Teacher of the Year and have 2 babies, twin babies. Do you get any sleep?
I love my babies. Oh yeah, well, I did. So the babies just are getting a nap right now, but say, Frances, do you get any sleep? Well, I try, but mom is the one that gets woken up because she can hear the baby's
Yeah,
crying. So
that's one advantage. Yes, not
one
hearing.
advantage.
You don't hear the baby cry.
It's one advantage, right?
So anyway, thank you guys so much. And we will be,
So much love to you, Christy,
yeah.
and thank you for this opportunity and helping us share our story. Thank you.
And I know Cynthia would love to, Cynthia from the Domestic Peace Center, she would love to get an email from the two of you to begin the conversation about the steps to explore, you know, how the Domestic Peace Center can interface or help you or create an internship or whatever needs to happen in that regard. Because I'm just like, I was so excited when I heard about their program and their research, which is really creating solutions, not just for helping the women have safe homes and change their thinking so that they can empower themselves to become successful, raising successful children, but also helping the men to learn how not to be so abusive, helping the children to learn not to grow up to be a batterer or be someone who beats people. And the skills that they teach are wonderful. So and now with Zoom, you know, and video, there is so much, a much better way, but really it's you know, it's the heart of each of us learning what we can do and what we can give. So if you're interested in helping this organization further, the website will be up on the screen. People will know how to go to the website, give back community at Zambia. So Scott will put that up there. And then, so anyway, we'll see what comes of it. I just was glad to get the opportunity to do this. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you, and hugs.
Much hugs.
Christy had a deaf grandmother herself. Her deaf grandmother, not signed. She never met, but seems she looks like her deaf
Looks like me. So, all right.
Okay, so that's how, here we are. Maybe her spirit is a part of this conversation. Frances says, maybe your grandmother is here with us in spirit.
I think so. I think she has been helping me along because she's, you know, I unfortunately never got to meet her, but I did feel close to her in some unusual ways, you know, just because I know part of what she went through as a woman growing up in the old days. Yeah, so the world is changing though, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you
Frances
guys,
wants to say it's obvious that your grandmother's spirit is here because you've done a lot, so much to support the deaf community and support our organization. I'm sure that she has a lot to do with it. So thank you. And
yeah, actually, Sheila, I think you should talk a little bit about the double pride because really it was your work, Sheila, that opened my eyes to the deaf community and the, you know, what's wanted and needed, and particularly to what happens with underserved communities and what can be done to impact underserved communities.
So you want me to do that now?
Yeah, you can sign and talk at the same time.
Okay, I'm Sheila Jacobs, and I'm a licensed MFT, and I grew up in a large deaf family. My grandparents are all deaf, my parents are deaf, and my sister is deaf, and it's genetic in both sides of my family tree, and my two deaf parents expected when my mother was pregnant to give birth to a deaf boy. So my deaf parents were really shocked that they had a hearing girl. They didn't know what to do. So I have the opposite situation than Francis and Yuffie, who are the only deaf in large hearing families. So I've had a unique perspective, and my deaf father was a well-known deaf leader. He wrote a book called A Deaf Adult Speaks Out and was well-known in America. And so I think I got involved in counseling and wanting to really help families with deaf and hearing family members to be successful together, how to communicate together. And I'm hoping to do more with Give Back to the Community-Zambia, because I've known Francis now for feels like 10 years. And he had a dream, and I got to be part of encouraging Francis and sharing resources and advocating and doing what I could to support his wonderful vision of how to give back to Zambia. And it's very exciting to see so many of your dreams coming true, Francis. Very, very inspiring to see how fast in 7 years he did not know ASL, American Sign Language, and he did not know English, came to this country and made a big difference quickly. Right now I interpret for Francis. He works at Mid-Penn High School, which is next to Facebook headquarters. It's a small private high school with hearing students with special challenges and mental health issues. And many of them, when they tour the school and they come into the ASL classroom and meet Francis, they see a very, very empowered man from another country who they're very inspired with his humor and your good attitude and very encouraging spirit. And so it's really been a big honor for me to interpret for Francis at Mid-Penn staff meetings and really see all the wonderful work they're doing together. So I created this Double Pride program, which is really how to have pride in two worlds, deaf and hearing. And so the sign is pride, and I sign it this way, double pride, if we can have both pride in my hearing side and my deaf side. But many times we have a lopsided pride, or sometimes no pride. So this GBCZ is promoting double pride. And with the Deaf Women in Zambia program, I think that Yuffie is going to be a wonderful role model to help many deaf women in Zambia. So I'm really happy to be part of this, to encourage and support your work.
Yeah, that's great. I think one of the things that was so striking to me, Sheila, when you were talking about your dad being an advocate and writing a book called A Deaf Adult Speaks
Out, yeah, speaks out.
Out that he was saying to the reader that you say I have a disability because I'm deaf, but to me, this is where my life has been. I am a father, I am a professor, I own a home, I raise children, I'm in a community man, I'm involved in all kinds of projects. And so what is missing from my life? You're telling me I'm missing a widget. I said, what is this widget? I don't know a widget. I'm a high functioning, very capable, bright, intelligent person. And it was very striking because we like to label people, like what Yuffie, you were talking about, labeling hearing parents suddenly find themselves with a deaf child, and so they label, oh, you must be deaf and dumb. And so then obviously you're no good. And so they don't support them. And here her father is saying, no, it's like my life, I live my life. I have a busy life. I'm raising a family. I'm doing all these things. And so it's your idea of disability, not mine, because I'm fine without a widget. I'm fine without, having to have some, I'm paraphrasing your father's story.
You got it. Yeah, Francis says, amen. It's really true that hearing people think they know what deaf people can and can't do, but really deaf people know they can do a lot if they could be given a chance.
Yes.